What am I, ding-dongs? Today we're going to be talking about the second best thing about film. We all know the first best thing is widely regarded as the most celebrated aspect of movies. You know, moms. You know, the best movie moms that come to mind for me are Elaine Miller from Almost Famous and Helen Parr from The Incredibles. Today we're going to be talking about the second best thing, and since today's Father's Day, I felt like it was the best time to go over this, and that is movie daddies. The thing about movie moms is that they're all kind of great. We all know that moms are like the best human beings on the planet, but the thing is we don't really get enough credit for the dad. There are so few movie dads that are like around for their kids. They're usually abandoning their kid. They're usually, you know, like divorced or something, or they don't care about them, or, you know, they're straight up abusive. The thing is these movie dads are the ones that aren't that way. They're the ones that are actually cool, and you kind of look up to them. These are like some of the most attractive dudes coming from a straight male. These ones hit pretty hard. So today we're going to be going over these daddies, starting with a few honorable mentions. Mufasa from The Lion King, obviously. He's iconic for a reason. I mean, long live the king, am I right? Coop from Interstellar, but I can always vouch for Matthew McConaughey's performance as Coop. Coop is a great character. I definitely can say that Coop trying to get back to his kids for like an entire film is just so heartwarming and cute, and I love it. There's obviously the iconic Marlin from Finding Nemo. I mean, the title says it for itself, so that right there just makes him one of the best of all time. There's another one, Mason Evans Sr. from Boyhood, played by the iconic, the amazing Ethan Hawke. I have a man crush on this guy for a reason, okay? Boyhood is not a great movie, but he is the best part of that film by far, and every time I look back at that movie and that experience, the one little thread of goodness I got from it was this performance. He is terrific in it, and I love Ethan Hawke for that reason. He also starred like my favorite movie of all time. So now we're gonna get into the top 10 territory. It was pretty hard to go through these and to rank them in a specific way, but let's just get into it.
You guys got something you want to tell me?
No?
What was General Grant doing on the thermostat?
I have no idea.
No idea. No idea? Huh? Look, don't! These are off limits! No touch! They are not toys, they're figurines!
More of a joke, but I also need to give some credit to Steve Zahn on this one. He is an underrated actor, I think. He does not get enough credit for his comedic talent. He is one of the funniest parts of this film, and Roderick Rules itself is already a freaking funny movie. The way Steve Zahn just delivers this performance, there's just this relatability to him, where he's just like the one sane person in the group, where everyone is just out of their minds. He's the one in the group that just is so down to earth, and every facial expression, every little subtlety in this performance just allows him to be the best movie dads out there, because the man cares about his kids, okay? He wants Roderick and Greg and Manny to all have a good life, but they don't want to do that, and you know, you can't blame them. I mean, they're still rebellious kids. They're trying to find their way. But I just love how straight the guy is. He's very straightforward, and he's caring, he's loving at the same time, okay? And so I just have to give so much credit, especially to Steve Zahn on this one, who gave just a great performance, and yeah.
Mom looked great, didn't she, Dad?
Yeah, she did. And her doctor said that she should be able to come home real soon.
So she'll be home tomorrow? There she goes again with tomorrow.
Well, I think tomorrow might be a bit soon.
Mom said she was going to sleep in my bed with me. I thought you said that you weren't scared to sleep alone. Can't you sleep by yourself? She's the one who's scared, not me.
One of the things I just loved about it, that just made me smile, was how there was a strong father figure in the film. Like, the mom is in the hospital the entire time, so this dad's taking care of the kids all by himself. And his just wonder and imagination, his care for his kids, that he's still willing to shelter them. And you could look at that as a bad thing, but That's not true. The man is just trying to maintain their kid's imagination. When his youngest daughter says that there's a big friend she has named Totoro living in the woods, he's like, alright, let's go find him. Instead of being like, what are you talking about? The cliched route is just to have the parent act like their kid is stupid, and that just makes them unlikable. Who wants that? So when I look at some of the best movie dads, this is a big one that comes to mind. This guy cares about his kids. There's a specific scene in here that I love where he's sitting down in his office just trying to get some work done, and his kids are just playing outside, and he just like can't help himself but kind of get involved in it. Such a fun-loving person who cares about his kids so much, and he's willing to do anything for them. So, I mean, how can he not be attracted to that man?
I suddenly remembered my Charlemagne. Let my armies be the rocks and the trees and the birds in the sky.
I know this is kind of an outsider pick because he actually wasn't very present in Indy's life, but what I love about this one is that redemption arc for Henry Jones. Henry Jones is someone who he wasn't much of a father when he was young, but then there is this point in this movie where he just kind of snapped on. He was like, I need to be a dad again. And the chemistry between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford's character is just so likable and endearing. And it doesn't go for that cheesy, hammy feel where they just automatically start hugging each other and it's all happy. You know, it doesn't do that sappy stuff. It goes for a more, I guess, I won't say realistic route, but a more believable route, I would say. Just all of their little interactions, the little subtleties and the things they say to each other is just so funny, and the comedic timing is just so on point. And I have to give so much credit for Sean Connery on this one. May he rest in peace for the wonderful work he did in this film. It's just one of the most likable performances ever. What can I say?
Both have such strong personalities. She doesn't know how to help you, and it frustrates her.
I wish she'd talk to me.
She will. I know. Happy 18.
I mean, Lady Bird is full of very unlikable characters. I mean, he is like that diamond in the rough. He's just, he's that one flower in the desert. This man is just so loving in quiet and subtle, where the mom is a lot more in her face and she's a lot more blunt and tells Christine exactly what she needs to hear. He sugarcoats it a little more, and you could look at that as a bad thing, but he's kind of the one to help unite the mom and the daughter together, and I love that so much. So there is one scene in here where the mom is like, you offend your dad, but he doesn't say anything about it. He keeps it to himself because he's that humble.
You think your dad and I don't know how ashamed that you are of us? Your dad knows. Your dad knows why you ask him to drop you off a block away from school every day.
Dad, I didn't mean to.
You made him feel horrible. Horrible.
I'm sorry.
You know
Marianne,
that?
you didn't have to bring
No,
that
Larry,
up.
you can't just be the nice guy. She has to know.
It just made me tear up, you know, and tears of joy. You know, it wasn't really a hopeful moment, but the fact that he cares about his kids so much that he's definitely willing to keep his negative emotions out of her life is just so sweet to me, and he was one of the best parts of Lady Bird.
I'm addicted to my children, sir. I love them with all my heart. And the idea of someone telling me I can't be with them, I can't see them every day, well, it's like someone saying I can't have air. I can't live without air, and I can't live without them. Listen, I would do anything. I just want to be with them. You know, I need that, sir. We have a history. And they mean everything to me, and they need me as much as I need them.
This is a very, very obvious pick. I mean, Robin Williams is one of the most likable actors who ever lived, and I miss him so much. But I mean, what else am I gonna say about this one? He literally dresses up just to hang out with his kids. He cares about his kids so much that he's willing to dress up like a woman and, you know, pretend to be someone else because he cares that much. It is just such a... It's so heartbreaking and sweet at the same time, and you just don't know how to feel about it. It's just so cute. And I love how the movie ends in a lot of ways. Like, it's so bittersweet because the parents don't end up together. It's not what you'd expect, but, you know, he still gets them in the end.
Is this boring to you?
No, I like it.
Yeah, well, I love it. Everything that's good that's happened to me in my life came because of that. I might not do everything great in my life. Okay, I'm not perfect. I'm not the best husband, and I'm sorry if I wasn't the best father. But I'm good at this. And I want to share this with you. I want to teach you what I learned. I get to touch people's lives with what I do. And it keeps me going, and I love it. And I think if you give it a shot, you might love it too.
Jon Favreau is a fantastic actor, I think, because of how natural he is in his environment. I don't think he gets a lot of credit for it because, I mean, he's just kind of plays himself with everything he does. But that can be a good thing in a lot of cases. It's just so natural in what he does. And with this, it's such a perfect balance of imperfect and perfect. And I love that approach because, look at it this way. When you have an argument with your father, you know, if he's around, there's definitely a point where you are asked to forgive him and forget it and move on. Kind of just the switch. It happens. It's so often. And they have a brilliant scene in here where he yells at his son and he comes back and apologizes and they get over it. It's not this thing that they hold on to the whole film where it gets really cliched, where it's just constantly shoving in your face that the son is mad because the dad yelled at him one time. You know, it moves past that. It kind of avoids any kind of like big conflict because most of the conflict happens at the beginning of the movie, so you don't really need it later. When you see these interactions with the son, it's so fluid and natural and fresh. You can say the same about his cooking. Like, I mean, what kind of dad like cooks these kinds of meals for his son? Like, who does that? He is truly one of a kind. You know, he wasn't much of a father when his son was very young, and seeing them go on this road trip together, spend all this time together, is just so sweet, and it just hits you in the feels. It just melts your cold heart for a little bit, just for a little bit, and then it freezes up when the movie is over. But still, I mean, I just absolutely love the portrayal of fatherhood in this movie. It's just so sweet and comforting.
Don't ever let somebody tell you you can't do something. Not even me. All right?
All right.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it.
There's so many great lines in this movie that he gives to his son. So many great monologues, man. But I just love how at the beginning he basically says, I didn't have a father growing up, and my biggest goal in life is to never have that happen to my son. To always be around for him no matter what. And just seeing him persevere through all of these really, really crazy conflicts just to keep him and his son alive. Seeing how far he's gonna go and push himself is just so stressful and also sweet to watch. And that's what makes that ending so emotional. When you see him just tear up when he gets that job, because of all of the trials you've seen him go through, all of the struggles he's had to pursue, and you see that final release where he finally gets that job and he's finally able to afford food for his son. It's just so sweet, and I love how they portray him, how Will Smith portrays him in this movie. It's just so well done. So obviously he had to be on this list.
We get along a lot better with all kinds of folks. You never really understand a person until you consider things from his point of view.
Sir?
Till you climb inside of his skin, walk around in it.
But if I keep going to school, we can't ever read anymore.
Scout, you know what a compromise is?
Gregory Peck was one of those actors who was just so professional. You know, he was just so slick and top-notch and sophisticated with everything he did. The way he communicates with his kids, always trying to teach them some kind of moral or life lesson, is just so empowering. And the thing is you look at this guy, and you're like, he looks like a nerd, you know, I could beat this dude up on any given day, you know. There's this veracity and this passion inside of him that you're just like, this guy's like, the man is like Rambo on the inside, but you don't see it. So he just like unloads all of these words. He's so smart. He doesn't fight people physically. He fights them with good, hard facts. And he does this all while being a great father in the process. And for that reason, I mean, if you've seen To Kill a Mockingbird, you will know what I'm talking about. The guy just, he just speaks volumes.
Stand up! Zum Teufel machst du? Vorwärts! Geh doch!
The thing about this one is, you could look at this as manipulating a child, and I can get it. The fact that, you know, he's going in a concentration camp together, you know, both being Jews during the Holocaust, and him telling his son basically that it's all a game, trying to hide the reality from him. And I can get if someone finds that offensive, but I don't. I think it's really clever, and it's a really interesting turn on this terrible, terrible tragedy. Seeing this kid go through all of these things thinking that it's just a game, how his dad is constantly trying to hide this from him. I just think it's a really brilliant concept and an interesting turn on this kind of subject matter. How he's just so energetic and lively in every scene, always trying to make you smile in such a terrible situation is just so interesting to me, the way they're able to pull that off. It should not work at all, but it does.
What have you done with it?
For me, it's books, books, books. I've read everything a man could wish to. Twice. Dickens 3 times. Any first thoughts?
Well, I suppose apart from getting a slightly better haircut.
Yeah.
Money would be the obvious thing.
Very mixed blessing. Utterly screwed up your grandfather's life, left him without love or friends. I've never bumped into a genuinely happy rich person.
Well, it would be nice not to have to work.
No, that's a real recipe for disaster. Look what happened to Uncle Fred.
What happened to Uncle Fred?
Absolutely sort of wasted his life. You have to use it for things that you really think will make your life the way you want it to be. Come on, really think about this.
Bill Nighy did such a good job giving this natural and charismatic performance. Just every line he gives feels so strangely relatable, and you can just get lost in the way he delivers it. Sometimes, like, when he talks, it just reminds me of Daniel Day-Lewis in There Will Be Blood. There's just this certain rhythm to the way he speaks that just, you just can't help but get into it. But I think the reason he's at the top, not only because, you know, he's just so likable, is just how unrealistic it is. This sets such a high bar for all daddies out there. I mean, just think about it. You've got the ability to travel in time and go back and change things, make up mistakes, and improve and be a better person. That's exactly what he does in this movie. He turns 21 and he goes back in time whenever he makes a mistake. And that's just so wacky and unrealistic and something that we couldn't live up to, but it's something we want to try to do. Just the way he treats his son, the respect he has for him, and just the way he raised all of his kids so well is just so cool. He uses his abilities for very good things, and he tells his son this at the very beginning of the movie, and that's what makes it just so heartwarming to me and so cute. I just love everything about this character. He is like the best character in this movie, and all the characters in this movie are incredibly likable, and you just want to give every single person in this film a hug. He's the one you just care about the most because he's basically the core of the story. He's what drives that narrative. He's what starts this idea and this concept because of, you know, what he tells his son, and then that, you know, tells the story. But he's the reason it all happened, and he is so fun to watch. Every line is pitch perfect. Everything feels like this great wisdom. He just feels so on level with his son. He doesn't feel like he's acting above him, talking down to him. Even though he's giving his sons tips and advice, he never feels like he's acting like he's superior in any way. He acts like he's his friend. That's what all dads should be. They should be a friend to their kids. And that's why I think he's the best. He sets such a high bar to an unrealistic degree. What's so wrong with that, okay? I mean, he's great. So, yeah, I mean, those are my favorite movie daddies of all time. Happy Father's Day, everyone. Hope you enjoyed this really weird, out-of-this-world video that I've never, ever thought about doing before, but I just felt like doing it because it's an occasion, okay? I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say. And I'll see you in the next video. This is Ethan Butler, and I'm out.